I'm Kenny.
I'm Debbie.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Lamar.
I'm Nikki.
And my name's Lindsay.
How many of you have children or hope to have children in the future? Wouldn't you want them to have the best of everything? And wouldn't that include the best of education? Well, by living in Oklahoma, you are limiting your child's education while they attend school from kindergarten to 12th grade. This is due to the lack of proper funding for common education in the state of Oklahoma. Each year, Oklahoma reviews their budget bill, and every year, education always takes a loss. Today, I want to talk to you about what exactly is going on in the budget bill and how this affects teachers and overall how this affects children in our local area. Oklahoma simply does not provide proper funding for their schools. Since the recession of 2008, Oklahoma has had the deepest cuts to school funding in the nation. The Center for Budget and Policy Properties shows that Oklahoma's per student school formula has decreased 23.6% in the last 6 years. This is 5.8% more than the next leading state. This year, legislation was able to increase the budget for common education by 1.6%. While this was a step in the right direction, it was still not enough for the ever-growing population of students in Oklahoma. So what does this mean for Oklahoma? Many school districts have been doing surveys to answer this question. 44 school districts may have to reduce the number of days they are open. 30% may have to reduce staff sizes. 16% are considering reducing transportation, and 19 of which are reporting that they do not have enough funds to pay their bills. This is a huge issue for legislation to overlook, and if there is no change, it will only continue to get worse. Now that you have an understanding of what this bill has done for our school systems, I want to focus on how this affects our teachers. Teachers play a large role in education. They put together lesson plans and wake up early each day to teach students who aren't always willing to learn. This job is not for everybody. But for teachers in Oklahoma, they face many more struggles than teachers in other states. And the biggest being the lack of proper payment. The Oklahoma State Department of Education has reported that in 2015-2016 school years, Oklahoma's teachers' salary and benefits was third lowest in the nation. The average pay for a teacher in Oklahoma is $44,900, but the starting rate is much lower. For a new teacher, the base pay is around $31,000, and if you have your doctorate degree, it is $34,000. Each year, teachers go down to the state building to protest and strike with no results. This year, the budget, when the budget bill was being reviewed, many other policies were brought in with common education to help raise teacher salaries, but none of them were passed. Shauna Mott Wright, an advocate for the Tulsa Classroom Teachers Association, was told by legislation that she should accept the 1.6% increase and she should be grateful. As you can understand, this was a very upsetting statement. She replied she doesn't know what she should be grateful for, and these policies are lowering the standard for education and have closed 3 schools in her district alone. Because of their decreasing salaries and increasing class sizes, many teachers are leaving Oklahoma to teach in other states where they can be paid more. This has resulted in a shortage of teachers in the state of Oklahoma, forcing them to increase the number of temporary certificates given out each year. This is lowering the standard of education. While the education standard in Oklahoma is constantly being lowered, and while teachers are being affected, the people who will suffer the most are the students. I have thrown a lot of facts at you, but I want you to understand what this means for the children in our local area. 44 districts are considering shortening their days. This means that the material covered will either be rushed through or simply shortened altogether. This also means that if your child does not understand something, they will be left behind to learn it on their own. 16% of school districts may reduce transportation. Many families rely on school bus systems to take their children to and from school. By eliminating this, many students will have no way to get to school, forcing them to either not attend or to walk miles to and from. With many teachers leaving and looking for better pay, Oklahoma is in a crisis, and to make matters worse, the number of students is constantly growing. This means that the size of classrooms is also growing, reducing the amount of one-on-one time teachers have with their students. This is the most damaging to students with learning disabilities because they need the extra attention to grow academically. A teacher at Booker T. Washington High School named John Waldron has recently spoke up about the struggles many families face. He stated that many schools are fighting over resources, and this is leading to programs being cut and the lack of updated textbooks. In fact, he talks about how many textbooks are barely being held together by duct tape. Throughout this speech, I have talked to you about the effect of the budget bill in our schools, teachers, and students. This issue is unjust because students who are suffering have no say what goes on in their educational systems. But you, as an adult, can make a difference. And I urge you to contact legislation to fight for a change within our budget bill. Because without change in the education portion of this bill, education becomes less of a priority in the great state of Oklahoma. Thank you.